I'm led to believe that teams 13 and 14, so York and Toulouse that come in, will be on half the central distribution. Now that's really significant. We've been down this path before with Bradford over a decade ago, where they were readmitted into Super League, but on half the central distribution, and they were destined to fail. Now, obviously, the criteria were laid out. It's who could take the most pain, is what I believe. And York or Toulouse in particular, have shown themselves willing to take financial pain, remembering that they will come in under the same travel criteria expenses as the Catalan Dragons. That means they will have to pay, obviously, all their own travel expenses to play games in this country, and they will have to pay for visiting teams coming to Toulouse, as the Catalan Dragons do. Now, in total, for your own travel and opposition teams' travel, that's circa £1 million. You got half the distribution of all the other clubs, and you've got £1 million bill that most of the other clubs, well, 12 of the 14, will not have to pay. So they have said, obviously, that they can handle that financial pain. The proof will be in the pudding, but try and put together a competitive squad when financially you've been handicapped to that extent. And indeed, York as well. I mean, York must have something financial up their sleeve to be able to say, we will take less distribution than everybody else and still be able to put together a competitive squad when sides who are getting full distribution and who have wealthy benefactors are struggling themselves to put together competitive sides. So time will tell on much of this, Megan. Well, it does little, because I can put together a financial plan on a spreadsheet right now and tell you I can spend this year, this next year, and that year after. I haven't had to spend a penny to do that, though. There's no money going into an escrow account to guarantee that any of these future... I can promise you that I have sponsors willing to commit X amount of pounds in 3 years' time, but until that money is turned into cold hard cash, it's only on paper. Mm-hmm. So you can put the best financial plans in place, but there's no money has to change hands. Nothing has to go into an escrow account just in case. You know, we've just lived through the Salford experience, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where there's millions and millions of pounds being promised and nothing has ever materialized. So I have some concerns about that. But again, Lord Kane was presented with all these details. We will have to back Lord Kane and his panel. They've been provided with much more information than I do. I'm judging it on experience in nearly 25 years in the game and what I've seen come and go. But let's go with it for the moment at York and Toulouse. But I have question marks about how they will be able to compete financially, getting only 50% of the central distribution. I don't think it's the right way to go. I think, in fact, Megan, it's evidence of the game not having the financial preparedness to go to 14 teams. If we did, we'd automatically say, Team 13, Team 14, welcome into Super League, here's full distribution. What we're saying is, welcome into Super League, but we don't have money to give you full distribution. So if you're willing to take some pain, come on in. Remains to be seen what they decide to do in 2026. At their current rate of recruitment, if the players that have committed, signed deals, and are playing in the Championship next year, London should have, arguably the most competitive side, the strongest side. It's going to, it's an expensive operation to run outside of Super League, and there's next to no central funding for it, and whether or not they can grow their crowd sufficiently in the Championship, even if they're top in the Championship, remains to be seen. But I would suggest it's a setback for Gary and his consortium. Now, they have said that they're more determined now than ever before. But it's going to be a long year with a lot of unknowns. Again, if London are to make Super League in 2027. Who's going to miss out then? There's somebody, sure. Unless we're going to go again with 18 teams. It's probably better for the competition if you got, again, look, I'm all for the game being strong. I'd like a strong rugby league team in Wales. I'd like one in Ireland, in Scotland, in France, multiple teams in France. That'd be great. I'd also like a strong rugby league team in some of the heartland places. Like, it'd be great if there was a strong team well supported in Halifax, for example. In Cumbria, for example, well supported, so getting significant figures. So I don't think it's London or Super League will live or die by London representation, but having a strong side down there is certainly a market that we should be looking to tap for multiple reasons. player pool, sponsorship pool, and Gary will do that. He's got Jason Demetriou and Mike Eccles there. I mean, with Gary's nous, they're in a very strong position to do something. I'm pleased that the Lord Kane panel can turn around now, and they're immunized from any accusations of favoritism. That's a very important point, and it's that's strong for the game. But Gary now is not back to square one, but Gary's got a big job on his hands at London now.